From the New York Times. 9,000 unjabinated NYC workers put on unpaid leave as mandate begins. In the 12 days from when the mandate was first announced and Monday's deadline, the jabination rate shot up at many city agencies. At the city's emergency medical service, which operates ambulances, the jabination rate jumped to 87% from 61%. The sanitation department's jabination rate jumped 20 percentage points to 82% from 62%. The adult jabination rate across New York City is at 86%. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, save the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Shalom, all blessings, honors, glories, and powers be unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Chakodash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, whom are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the sea land of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. And to you I say Shalom, and Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Ratazah. This lesson is edifying. Now, this article reads 9,000 unjucinated NYC workers put on unpaid leave as mandate begins. Mayor de Blasio said thousands more did get the juk, and that the first day of the Vaseline mandate went smoothly without significant service disruptions, which some of that is BS, while some of it could in fact be true. Because, as we will see once again, when I read later on in this article, that many more New York City workers did in fact went out there and took that juk just so that they can retain their jobs. But how much more when they mandate the MOTB, which is basically what I really wanted to highlight in this lesson. How much more when Esau, Edom, the so-called Caucasian race, the devil, the wicked, according to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, mandates the MOTB. This article reads, hundreds of firefighters called in sick in what appeared to be an organized protest. Sanitation workers were playing catch up after garbage collection lagged last week. And I personally had seen this yesterday as I was going about my daily routines. I'd seen a lot of garbage trucks around, hustling to pick up garbage and so on and so forth. But for the most part, New York City's vast municipal workforce returned to work as usual on Monday. with more than a few sore arms and new Jab Nation cards, which says that many municipal workers did in fact went out there and took that jab after being extremely pressured into doing so. As the city's Corona v. Japsine mandate for its employees went into effect, officials said. We're not seeing disruptions to any city services, Mayor Bill de Blasio said late Monday morning. Across all city agencies, Mr. de Blasio said, about 9,000 municipal employees have been placed on unpaid leave, all eligible to return to work as soon as they get a first dose. So they're basically giving them an ultimatum. And at first, Esau said, look, if you don't get this jab by this date, then you're going to be put on unpaid leave and fired. Now they're saying that they'll all be eligible to return as soon as they get a first dose. Now, what do you think those 9,000 municipal employees are going to do eventually when their backs are extremely against the wall, when they have no finances left to keep a roof over their heads and feed their families? What do you think they're going to do? They're going to fold and they're going to take that jab if they're not of the Lord's elect. Because only the elect of the nation of Israel will be protected and preserved and taken care of. Because the Lord said that he's going to keep his elect when they mandate the MOTB from the hour of temptation. When you go into the word temptation, it means a trial through the idea of piercing. The piercing of what? Of that chip when they mandate it. But all this that we're seeing is a prelude to that. And our message, beginning with the apostles and the elders and older brothers on down to us younger men of Great Millstone, as well as the men that are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad that teach the same doctrine as we do. Our message to you is to not take anything from these devils, especially that chip when they mandate it. And that message is to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners. Okay? Have faith and trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Look at the generations of old. Look at what the Lord did for Elijah, King David. Okay? All our forefathers, man, that were and are righteous. Look at the generations of old and see, did any ever trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and was forsaken? No. Things will get tough. Things will get rough. But have faith. What is faith? Let's find out. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That is faith. And as it is written, the just, who's the just? The elect, shall live by faith. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition. We are not of those that were once enlightened, that had then drawn back into the cares of the world, to the lust of the flesh, unto perdition. To the spirit and power and grace and mercies of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, which allows us to not draw back, but to stay rooted and built up in faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but of them that believe to the saving of the souls, because we have faith that the Lord will save our souls. We have faith that the Lord will provide for us. The Lord said that he will, and so he will. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. Please who? Please, Yahweh Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. For he that cometh to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai must believe that he is. And that's literally what the name of the Father means. Yahweh. He is. Yah means he. Hawah means exists or is. And his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yah means he. Yahweh Shai means delivers or saves. And that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. And only the elect of the nation of Israel diligently seek Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which I pray that I am a part of, as well as you brothers and few sisters out there that are sincere. Because all we have is Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And that is why we diligently seek Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Fear not and have faith. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, behold, my servants shall eat. Or the servants of the Most High, Yahweh, the prophets, on down to his elect, shall eat. But ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. 2/3 are going to be hungry. 2/3 are going to be thirsty. Those that trust in Egypt, as many of these municipal workers had shown themselves to be, that is, trusters of Egypt, in that they had eventually went out there and took this man's Vaseline, they're going to be in great derision when the Lord begins to execute greater judgments upon the earth. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be thirsty. But us of the Lord's hopeful elect, Lord's when we are of the elect, we're going to eat. We're going to drink. And we're going to rejoice. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy. We're going to sing for joy. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. For joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart. Why are they going to cry? Because they're going to realize that Egypt, which is America, Babylon the Great, is to their detriment, to their confusion, to their derision. That shall have vexation of spirit is to their vexation. That is why the Lord said this here in Isaiah chapter 30. Again, the Lord said, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. And who's Pharaoh? Pharaoh is the president of Egypt, which is America, Babylon the Great, who is Joe Biden, shall be your shame. And a lot of our people trust in Joe Biden, who is an Edomite, who's of the wicked. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. So people are going to realize that this man was never for them. He was never for their well-being, but rather for their own destruction. Because the Lord said in the book of Sirach, the 12th chapter, to never trust thine enemy. For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Because eventually iron becomes rust. You know? And when it's exposed to air, to carbon. And that's how the wicked is. Eventually his wickedness, it shows, because the Lord said it in the book of Luke chapter 12 verse 2, that there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So, reading on, it says another 12,000 city workers had yet to get their first dose of a C-19 jab, but had applied for a religious or medical exemption, which in most cases, Esau or Edom, they deny that. But, you know, you do have some brothers and sisters that work for the city, that's of the elect, that the Lord, you know, allows these devils to give religious exemptions to. Again, the elect will be taken care of regardless. So have faith. Trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Many things are easier said than done. But when it comes to spiritual things, when it comes to the scriptures, we have to have faith. We have to believe. Okay, I say we because guess what? I'm also in there too. I'm applied. It applies to me. It applies to me as well. First and foremost, since I'm the one that is saying it, because we are our own worst enemies individually. And the first person that we should be teaching is ourselves before we teach anyone else. Okay, so it says, but that applied for a religious or medical exemption, they are allowed to continue working while the city evaluates their request. The city has over 370,000 workers on its payroll. This is the point that I wanted to get to in the article. In the 12 days from when the mandate was first announced on Monday's deadline, the vaccination rate shot up. It shot up. See that? By Monday's deadline, the vaccination rate shot up at many city agencies. At the city's emergency medical service, which operates ambulances, the vaccination rate jumped to 87% from 61%, which is a pretty significant leap. A lot of people folded and took that shit, man. Sanitation department's vaccination rate jumped 20 percentage points to 82% from 62%. The adult vaccination rate across New York City is at 86%. So the majority of New Yorkers have taken that venom. And this article goes on, but the point has been read. I will leave the link of this article in the description box of this lesson, Lord is willing. Now let's read Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1 and 2 again and break it down. Verse 1, woe, which means destruction, to the rebellious children. Who is the rebellious children? The nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of our stock, save the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, because they are taking counsel from Pharaoh and from Esau Edom's government, his mayors, his governors, his local authorities, and even the leaders of our people, which cause them to err. And the Lord said, they that are led of them will be destroyed, but not of my spirit, because they're not taking counsel from the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They're not taking heed unto the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They're taking heed unto Creflo Dollar, T.D. Jakes, Joyce Myers, Joel Osteen. These different other camps like the ICUBK, the IUIC, which encourages them to take that needle. To trust in Esau and all these different things. Even though, they might obviously speak against Esau, but a lot of these guys are paid off. Scripture says a gift disturbs the heart. You're not listening to the true men of the Lord. Some of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone on down to men of like mind that are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. Instead, they continue to mock, scoff, and scorn. But that's all right. That's all right. But not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. What is sin? 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Sin is transgression of the laws of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that were only given unto the nation of Israel, according to the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19, thus making us a special and a holy, which means separate people unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, according to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. And what is sin? To sin? Iniquity, the stacking of sin, that walked to go down into Egypt. Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Thus America is spiritually Egypt. Egypt means bondage, for this is the land of our bondage. This is the land of our captivity, where we are subject to payments, subject to our oppressors. The word subject means under the rule of. Who are we under the rule of? The wicked. Who is the wicked? Malachi chapter 1, verse 4 tells us that the wicked is Esau or Edom. They are the wicked. We are also subject to the heathen nations as well, to where we are scattered amongst. Okay. And I have not acts in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, because they trust in America's military might, America's financial might, America's technological might. All these things represents the shadow of Egypt, because a shadow is a covering, a protection from heat. A shadow is also a reflection of a thing, because America, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, reflects the ancient manners and customs of ancient Egypt. That is why America is considered Egypt as well. Okay, spiritually, because America is all the ancient kingdoms amalgamated into one. Hence why it's called Babylon. Babylon goes back to the word Babal, which means confusion. This is the bitter land of confusion, because the word America means bitter. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Why is it going to be your confusion? Because it's going to lead to your destruction. Verse 7, for the Egyptians shall help in vain. Their help is going to be in vain and to no purpose. Therefore have I cried concerning this. Their strength is to sit still, meaning that it's going to come to naught. It's going to be to no avail. Okay. Verse 12, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression, because there are people, they trust in oppression and perversenesses. They trust in different forms of witchcrafts and voodoo, obeah, all manner of different things, all manner of perversenesses, and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. Right when they're going to be relaxed and settling upon their couches, upon their leaves, is when the destruction is going to suddenly fall upon them, as a breach suddenly falls, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a shard to take fire from the earth, or to take water withal out of the pit. Which is to basically say that the Most High is going to break our people through these different trials and tribulations beyond the point of repair. He's going to break Jake down so much that they're going to be like a pottery that has been broken to the point where you can't even use the fragments of it, the pieces of it, to pick up earth or to use it to take water. That's how badly Jake is going to be broken down out here, man, for their trusting in Egypt and oppression and perversenesses and staying thereon. So when they shall say peace and safety to you niggas out there, you wildlings, for you brothers that know where I got that term from, this is what the Lord said, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3, for one day shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace and shall find none, as it is written. So I'll conclude here. Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying. Lord's willing, they don't take it down. And shalom to the elect. Lord's willing, until the next.